Hello, everyone. My name is Connor Blay, and thank you so much for joining us today for our live event, Mastering Business at McNeese State University. If you are seeking a foundation in business to enhance your marketability to potential employers, the Master of Business Administration, which is often called MBA, degree program at McNeese can be a great complement. The College of Business offers a quality instruction and is accredited by the Association to Advance Collegiate Schools of Business International, or AACSB. I'm excited to introduce our special guest who will be joining us today from McNeese. Preble Girard is the Director of International Programs by Preble. Welcome. And then we have Morgan Turpin. She is the College of Business Internship Director. Hi, Morgan.
Hi.
And then we have Miss Sarah Reynolds, and she is the Assistant to the Dean of the College of Business.
Hi.
Welcome to the stream, everyone. How are you doing?
Thank you. Thank you for having us. We're doing great.
Thank you guys for being with us today to chat about the MBA program at McNeese. And if you all are ready, we're going to go ahead and get some questions in to start the discussion off. To our audience, as usual, I'm going to start out with some questions and then this to the special guest, and then we'll take your questions at the end. So if you have any questions throughout the event for Preble, Sarah, or Morgan, then send them in the comments and we'll get to them after this question portion. Okay, so the first question is going to be for you, Sarah. The thing on everyone's minds right now is still COVID-19. So is this MBA program going to be offered online or face-to-face? And how are you working with students to make it a bit easier on them during this time?
Yes, COVID-19. So our McNeese MBA program is currently online due to COVID-19. Our plan for the fall of 2021 is to return both face-to-face and online course instruction. We are looking forward to returning face-to-face here on campus for our classes. Our MBA program classes are offered on campus at night, generally beginning at 5:30 p.m., depending on how you set up your schedule for the fall and the days you attend classes for face-to-face. Our professors in the College of Business, they work with students to make their learning process a little easier with virtual office hours at this time, given that everything is currently online. When we return face-to-face, students will have the availability to have live instruction as well as faculty being on campus in their offices for problem solving or office hours.
Excellent. So both options are available, is what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Great. All right. So the next question I have is for Preble. It's a two-part question, actually. What are the requirements for admission, and do you need to have an undergraduate degree in business in order to be considered for the program?
Great. So the admissions process, we work very hard to make sure that we keep that streamlined. So in a nutshell, what we're looking for, we're looking for the academic qualification. So we need students with a minimum of at least a 2.5 GPA. However, if you have a 2.75 GPA or higher, we are able to offer a GRE or GMAT waiver. So a lot of students are very motivated by the GRE or GMAT waiver. So you do need a minimum of 2.75 for that. And we will need a credential evaluation. A lot of times students will use an evaluator such as WES. And with the WES evaluation, you simply send your documents to WES, and then WES sends them to McNeese. So that sort of simplifies the process. And we're also looking for English proficiency. And again, to make this as easy as possible for the students, we can accept TOEFL, IELTS, Duolingo, or PTE. So any of those are options to show English proficiency. The minimum English proficiency would be a 71 TOEFL, a 6.0 IELTS, or the equivalents with Duolingo and PTE. A couple of other things that come into the process and questions usually arise. We do not require work experience, so that is not part of the admissions process. So there is no work experience required with the MBA program. And then my colleague, Sarah, will talk a little bit later about the prerequisites if you come from a non-business background. So you do not have to come to our MBA program with a business background. You can enter with a non-business background. However, with a non-business background, there are some prerequisites. And we spell all of those out at the time of admission, so it's not a surprise. Something I'd like to add here is that this is really a benefit to the program too. Having students who come from so many different backgrounds, it really adds a lot of diversity, diversity of experience, diversity of expertise in the various programs. And the opportunity to enter with a different background is actually something that students should be thinking about. I've had students who come to us having completed a nursing degree, having completed an engineering degree, and coming and adding a business foundation to that really poises students for leadership opportunities in their respective fields as they move on. So this is something that can be paired very well, either to take your business background to a higher level or to add business expertise to a different technical background. There are a lot of different approaches to this, and that offer opportunities for students. And Connor, what was the second part of the question, or did I get all of that?
I think you pretty much covered all of that. I just wanted to follow up with that. Do you accept 3-year bachelor's degree programs for admission into the program?
Yeah, so we've had some recent policy changes, and we're very excited to be working with students who have 3-year bachelor's program. Now, if you have a 3-year bachelor, we require a minimum 2.75. And your bachelor's degree, the 3-year bachelor's degree must be in a business-related field. And we're only working with students with 3-year bachelor's degrees from Nepal, India, from Francophone West Africa, or from European countries that are part of the Bologna process. So it is somewhat limited, but in general, that touches on a lot of students who may have 3-year degrees. We've had some terrific success with students working with us with these backgrounds. So we're excited to be able to now accept students with that academic background.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thanks, Preble. So the next question I have is for Sarah. So students who don't have graduate business may be considered. Are there any additional prerequisites for the program if this is the case?
Yes. So if your degree is not in business, you have 18 to 24 hours of foundation courses that are required prior to. And what happens is we will review your transcript once you get accepted into McNeese, or even before, and we can tell you if you're missing any sort of math class or any of the foundation courses. Some students will take an econ or a management class, and we'll review those classes to be sure that they equate to our classes here on campus. Our MBA classes have quite a bit of statistical instruction, so we make sure that you have that statistics math class, a finite class, as well as the Business Administration 275 class, which is analytical statistics. Those are important classes to be successful in our program.
Great, thank you. So now we have some background on the admissions process and what that looks like. Let's kind of switch gears a little bit and talk about what the MBA program once students are admitted. So Sarah, this question's for you too. What does the required curriculum look like in the program?
Okay. So our MBA program is set up to complete in 1 year if your undergraduate degree is in business. And as I said earlier, if it's not that big of a deal. You just have to take 18 to 24 hours, possibly in the foundation courses. Most students take anywhere from 6 to 12 hours. 6 hours is part-time, 9 hours and above is considered full-time. Just depends on your personal and work life as to how you schedule your classes. Instruction is going to vary from faculty member to faculty member. It just depends on what they, require. Research, maybe, in quite a bit of our MBA classes, as well as just regular instruction and testing. Our face-to-face classes and our online classes all utilize the Moodle LMS system. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. What you learn in class for the classroom instruction, you'll also get on Moodle.
Excellent. Thank you, Sarah. The next question I have is for you, Morgan. Are the professors at the College of Business experienced, and do they work closely with students? And who are they? Are they diverse faculty and staff?
Absolutely. We have a diverse, warm, and welcoming faculty that work closely with students. They're very experienced in their subjects of accounting, finance, economics, management, marketing, and business administration. And one of the great benefits of an MBA at McNeese is that we do have smaller classroom sizes, so you get a close working relationship with our professors.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Morgan. And I have a couple more questions for you. Are there any student faculty research opportunities available, and how can students participate in those?
There definitely are. Since we do have the small classroom sizes, students are able to easily connect with professors. We have a professor that brings students every year to an academic conference. They research together and they get to present together, which has been a great experience for a lot of students. We have a professor currently that's been working with an MBA student on market analyses and some economic development information they've been collecting for local government and businesses and things for our local economy, which has been exciting for our student and for our professor to be able to work together on those types of things. We also have professors that help students build up their academic background if they want to have research to prepare them for a career in academia.
That's great. It sounds like it's easy to get involved in that on campus. So if students wanted to gain some experience maybe off campus in an internship, how can they find one of those?
We have a lot of different internship opportunities in our MBA program. So you can earn course credit and also be paid, which is really great. We have local, national, and international opportunities for students to get hands-on experience in their field. We've had opportunities at Big Fours, we've had opportunities in industry, we have opportunities in banking. It's really what the student's interested in, and we work with that student to help find them what's going to be the best fit for their future career path. We advertise positions, employers approach us, and then students, if they have a certain area where they're specifically interested, we can work with them on getting one set up in that area.
Excellent. Thank you, Morgan. So the next question I have is for you, Preble. Are there any specific rules for international students who want to gain work experience or have internships while attending the McNeese on a student visa?
So the good news, the bad news is, yes, there are rules, but the good news is that my office works very closely with Morgan's office and other offices on campus. And our goal is to make sure that we offer all the opportunities that students want and need, and then we make sure that we help them meet all of the regulations. So there are rules that pertain to this. So a student that has an internship, this comes under guidelines for curricular practical training, which is commonly known as CPT. And so we work together to make sure that the students have the necessary authorization, that they're enrolled in the required class, that they meet the number of hours, and that they have the required supervision for that. So that is an opportunity. Students can work off campus through CPT to have internships. Another thing is that after students graduate, they do have continuing opportunities. So there's it's called optional practical training. And so students who graduate and they're on F1, someone who's on an F1 visa would be able to continue to get professional training and work experience with OPT authorization. And so the OPT process runs through my office. We help students apply for that. We help them understand what the regulations are. And then one other thing I'd like to mention too is that some of the opportunities actually are right on campus. And so students also have opportunities for work experience on campus. And so students are legally able to work on campus up to 20 hours per week. And there are some additional hours that are available as well during holiday break. And so some students may actually end up working with faculty members, or they may work with an entity that exists on our campus already. And so they can do some on-campus employment that's actually directly related to what they might be studying in the MBA program.
Fantastic. That sounds great. I'm sure students enjoy having your office's support and career help. So before we close, I just have one more question for you, Preble. All of you have talked about the different opportunities and the wonderful faculty in the MBA program. Do you have any specific students or stories that you'd like to share and highlight the spirit of entrepreneurship at McNeese?
Well, I actually have so many, it's difficult to choose. Leading up to the response that I'd like to give you, though, I'd like to mention that our campus is very unique. So on our campus actually is the location for our regional economic development office. And so we have a business incubator that is actually on our campus. And so students have a lot of different opportunities, sometimes with their capstone projects or other different projects. And these projects will then sort of feed through these business incubator opportunities. And so we've had lots of students really take advantage of this. And a lot of times this ends up being a collaborative opportunity where students may be working with students from other disciplines. And so it becomes a very multidisciplinary activity because, in fact, business touches every part of our campus. Every area will always have a business component. So it's been very interesting to watch students, maybe in computer science or in engineering, to watch them pair up with students in our College of Business to show how do you monetize an idea, how do you commercialize these things, et cetera. So just to put it, I have two responses very quickly to what you've asked about. We've had several students who have participated in our annual business pitch competition, and that's through the Economic Development Center. And so that's been interesting to watch those students take these ideas. And one student I'm thinking about in particular has been, there was Brian Flanagan, and I know that Morgan worked very, very closely with him, but there was a startup that started through the business incubator. He got involved with that, and so that really grew. And then one of the sort of hallmark achievements over through the business incubator was there was a group of students from computer science and business, and it started out as a capstone project, and it grew, and ultimately it was an app that then there was a business built around it. This app is called Waiter, and it's now traded on the New York Stock Exchange. And this has all happened, in the last 10 years. And this is, one of my students who actually started out in intensive English and sort of worked his way through that. But it's been really exciting to watch these things happen, and to have students take ideas, collaborate with each other, and then to watch these business ideas grow. So those are just a few examples that come to mind.
Yeah, that's amazing. It sounds like students really succeed beyond the classroom at McNeese in the MBA program. Okay, so now we are going to take some questions before we wrap up. We have a few. And any of you can feel free to jump in. Have an answer to any of these questions. So let's go ahead and do this first one. It's from Sajawal I'm sorry if I butchered that, but do you let us know about graduate assistantship and scholarships for freshman intake in fall 2021? Anybody can grab that question.
Yeah, I can take the question about graduate assistantships and scholarships.
Yeah,
McNeese is very generous with our financial awards to incentivize studying at McNeese for international students. So we have a variety of graduate scholarships that are available. They do require a minimum 3.0 GPA. So you need a minimum 3.0 in order to be considered for a graduate scholarship. There are some graduate assistantships that are available. However, those are awarded after admission. So typically those are awarded when a student arrives on campus. So those are not typically recruitment tools. Those are offered after a student arrives on campus and gets to know the faculty and finds projects to work on.
Great. Okay. Thanks, Preble. So we have another question from Tanvir. They say, thanks for the great session. Thank you for joining us. Any upcoming changes regarding the borders for international students, or should we go ahead and go for study online?
Well, a lot of that is driven by this constantly changing situation with COVID. We're hopeful that things will start to open up a little bit more. So we are taking applications for fall 2021, and we are issuing our immigration paperwork for fall 2021. So we are moving forward with the intention of being fully open, fully operational, face-to-face for fall 2021. Now, having said that, if a student wants to get started, the great thing about the MBA program is you could start online and then come the next semester and just merge right into the face-to-face instruction. So there's no differentiation. So that's entirely possible. Like as Sarah was mentioning before, I mean, these are two parallel
Right. Okay. So, last one, I'm not sure if we covered this already. I think we talked a little bit more about the admissions process, but Sajawal asks again, how do you submit an application for the MBA program?
So I'm going to take this one. This is what my office handles. Sarah and I end up working in this. It's a two-part process, but it starts with my office. So it is a very straightforward process. The student literally needs to go to our website, which is www.mcneese.edu. And on our homepage, there's a little button that says apply. So you'll click on apply, and then you'll click on international student, and then under international student, you'll click on graduate student, and you submit the application for the semester for which you would like to enter. So that process starts, and then that triggers a lot of communication. We'll tell you exactly what you need to submit. Once that's submitted, then my office transmits that as a complete file to Sarah's office, and they'll make the final decision. And then that comes back to my office, and then we'll issue the immigration paperwork and work with the student for the F1 visa. And the other nice part about this is that when you submit your application online, there's actually a question inside the application, would you like to be considered for a scholarship? And so if you click yes, we're going to take that as your scholarship application. So you don't need to do a separate application for a scholarship. Everything is going to be in this one portal. So that's www.mcneese.edu, and then click on apply.
All right, great. Thanks, Preble. So this question is from Ashley. I wanted to kind of go around to each of you for this one, and then we'll wrap up. What is the biggest piece of advice you would give to a student who is preparing for the program? And I'll start with Preble and then go around to everybody.
Oh, I thought I was going to get a break. I think the best advice I can give a student is pay attention to the required documents that are necessary when applying. And then also pay attention to the emails we send you. We actually put thought into the emails. So when we're communicating with you, following those directions, it will facilitate the process. But it's not an automatic process. As you can see here, we're all human beings. So even though you're doing it on a computer and it looks like it might be an automated process, it is very much a personal process. So there are human beings behind it. So we're understanding that and then making sure that you follow the directions is a very important part of the process.
Great, thanks, Preble. Sarah?
Okay, so my suggestion is we have once you become a student here, we have your degree plan in a program called Degree Works. So my suggestion is to stay on top of Degree Works and stay in communication with your advisor to make sure that you're taking foundation courses that you need to be taking correctly, if you need those prior to taking your actual MBA classes.
All right, thank you. And then Morgan, what piece of advice would you give?
From the career perspective, think about where you want your MBA to be able to take you. Think about the different career paths that you're interested in, and then explore internships with me whenever you get here.
Awesome. All right. Thank you all. That's great advice. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you all so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. And if you'd like to learn more about McNeese State University, you can visit their profile on internationalstudent.com and submit to request more information. We've linked that profile for you in the comments section. Preble, Morgan, Sarah, do you have anything else to add before we go ahead and wrap this up?
I just want to kind of reiterate the AACSB accreditation. That's a very small percentage, national and internationally, that, of schools who have that accreditation. It's our MBA program is very respected throughout our community, our local refineries, and just kind of out in our 5-parish area and
I'd also interject something in there. There's really an appeal to attending a school where it's not too big and not too small. We're big enough to have all of the facilities and the faculty and the connections, but we're small enough to actually know who you are, to find opportunities, to help you find your direction. And so I think finding that happy medium has a lot of value.
With that, yeah. Anything else, Morgan, before we sign off?
Just that we genuinely care about our students and we'd love to see you here.
Great. All right. Thank you all for joining us again, and we hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.
bye.